Today's topic is relationships. And have you ever noticed something interesting about relationships? The same type of conflicts tend to repeat, isn't it? Different partner, different friend, maybe different colleague, but somehow that emotional pattern feels familiar. Have you felt that? For example, you must have come out of one relationship, but when you move into the next one, even though it's different partner, the emotions you feel are similar, or they are on the same line of underlining deep meaning. The same type of conflict tends to repeat, but somehow the emotional patterns feels very familiar in all these case scenarios. The same irritation, the same misunderstanding, the same argument. It makes people wonder, why does this keep happening to me? Today we are going to talk about the psychology of relationship triggers and emotional patterns. So you need to understand that relationships should be viewed as mirrors first, because not in a spiritual cliche way but in a psychological way. They expose emotional reactions that already exist inside us. For example, one person hears criticism and becomes curious, another person hears criticism and becomes defensive. The external event is the same, the internal response is different, which means the reaction comes from the internal system. Plus, you have to understand the kind of vibe you give out is the same kind of tribe you attract. So the way you react internally is the same way you would attract from the external source. On top of this comes memory and emotional association of all this. So the brain does not react only to the present moment, it reacts to the associations of it based on past situations of what it has learned. So if a current situation resembles a past emotional memory, the brain reacts instantly the way it has learned to react throughout the experiences. This is why a simple sentence can trigger a disproportionate reaction. For example, the brain connects, present situation to the past emotional memory. So, for example, if in any of the relationship situation, let's say someone tells you that you are useless and you have been told multiple times that in the past, let's say in your family. So the same trigger, how you get responded to that, you'll respond here itself as well, because your brain has learned how to respond to this. Either you go all quiet, either you lash out, or either you absorb that and make fun of it and respond in a funny manner. Who knows? This nervous system activates before your logic engages, and the reaction just comes out because of whatever is fitted into your mind. In this, the patterns get repeated. Most people believe patterns repeat because they meet similar people, but often the pattern repeats because the reaction remains the same, our internal reaction. For example, if someone struggles with feeling unheard, they may become reactive when conversation feels dismissive. That reaction can escalate the situation, the cycle repeats. Until the internal reaction changes, the external pattern continues. Depending on how you respond internally to your state is the basis of how the external output is governed, how the external experiences form. That is one of the biggest way how belief system is also formed, because you have an internal ideology of this will happen. Subconsciously you developed all the scenario which leads to that, and it in turns strengthens your belief, because in the end the output comes the way you had thought, and then the belief system is formed. But what we have to do is breaking these trigger patterns. Now, breaking emotional patterns requires three steps. First is awareness of the trigger moment. Where does it start? Second is slowing down the reaction. And third is choosing different response. Only after that, the brain understands there's a different approach to this. Now, this interrupts that automatic pathway. Over time, brain learns this new response, and that's when relationships begins to change with anyone in your life. Why today's topic is important to address? Because relationships and human to human connection is one of the most important way of emotional connection to take place, and most of us have seen this past in the past time and time again, that because of so much of an internal state we tend to have some kind of imposed expectation from our partners, some kind of emotional support we need from our loved ones, and we happen to not get it the way we want. But we have also noticed we don't, at the time of replying, at the time of doing stuff, we don't want to do it the way it should be done. Many times we take it for granted. Many times we are in the zone that we are doing it so much, then also we are not getting output out of it. And it's okay to feel all this. But what's not okay is not controlling the inner state of ourselves and then regretting the external scenarios. In reset entropy philosophy, emotional patterns create internal disorder. Remember that. And repeated reactions build internal chaos. When reaction becomes calmer and more intentional, internal order will increase. There is no two way to it. And that is when we feel so much calmer, we feel so much in place with ourselves. We don't have unexpected imposed expectations anywhere from anyone. We are whole in our own self. And you know what it means to be that? Once you're whole in your own self, you many times tend to become a giving person. And when you are a giving person, you automatically receive also. That is how the exchange of energy works. That is how the exchange of emotions work. And when this all of this internal order increases, external relationships improve naturally. So if you notice these patterns, If you notice the same emotional conflicts with family, with friends, with colleagues, with your loved ones, on a repeating cycle, I know it's very frustrating, but I would say don't give benefit of the doubt and don't blame the situation. Look at the pattern deeper. Because changing the reaction often changes the outcome. And sometimes the biggest transformation in relationships, in any relationships, starts with the smaller shift in response.